Hello, I'm Pastor John, and welcome to another Monday Morning Pastor, where we try to take a concept or a thought from Sunday morning and share it briefly today to help us get through the week. But this is going to be a different kind of message because I wasn't in church on Sunday morning. I was at a family wedding. My wife, Diane, she's one of 7, and she has beautiful brothers and sisters, and one of them has 6 daughters. We got to enjoy the 5th wedding of these 6 daughters. These are wonderful girls. These are wonderful young women. 3 of them have gone overseas with YWAM. They're all serving the Lord. They love the Lord. And in fact, it was one of my nephews by marriage that actually performed a wonderful ceremony. And I saw something I had never seen in a wedding before. I'd heard about it, but I'd never seen it, is the washing of feet, which of course is a great Christian tradition that you don't usually find in weddings. And I thought it was wonderfully appropriate because I can't think of a characteristic or a practice in marriage that would strengthen a marriage more than being a good servant. Yes, love is important, but love can be fleeting, can be fickle, can be funny, can be difficult to nail down sometimes. It's a lot of times based on feelings, especially romantic love, sensual love, things like that. But servanthood is pretty absolute, pretty clear, and pretty simple as to what it entails. And Jesus gives us a fabulous example of servanthood. It's in John chapter 13. You probably know the story. It goes like this. This is during the last few days of his life here on earth. He's entering into a home with his disciples. And the picture that I have in mind is that the custom of the time is that the lowest servant on the totem pole would wash the feet of guests. And if you can imagine first century Jerusalem, what it was like, what people walked through day in and day out, it was a necessity that somebody clean those feet. Nobody was doing it, and the story sounds like this, that Jesus prepared himself, sat down, and began to wash the feet of all the disciples. Now, there's some wonderful, profound lessons in there, but I think the highlight of it is summed up in these words of Jesus from the Gospel of Matthew, where he says that if you want to be great, if you want to be top dog, if you want to be on top, learn to be a servant. And so that doesn't matter what kind of organization we're in. It could be our employment. It could be a volunteer service organization. Certainly refers to the church, and absolutely it refers to marriage as well. That servanthood is essential. I'd like to close with a story that I've told before, something that impacted me that I never forgot. When I was driving motor coaches in Alaska to put me through graduate school, I would show up in the bus yard probably 6 in the morning to pick up my motor coach, which 99.9% of the time was clean inside and outside from top to bottom. This particular morning I showed up and there was my motor coach, and it was filthy, dirty. Probably what had happened is it came in really late the night before and the bus washers had already gone home. So I really had no choice. I had to start the bus, bring it up to the bus washing station, and began to wash it myself. Well, before I got 3 minutes into it, running out of the main office was my boss, was my manager, Cliff, and he immediately pitched in to help me out. I said, Cliff, I know you're busy. I can take care of this. You don't need to do this. He said, John, I want to and I need you. I need to. Let me tell you why. And he told me a personal story that I never forgot. He had worked for the company for a long time. The company, Holland America, didn't just have motor coaches, they had cruise ships. And his first job as a young person, probably not even 20 years old yet, was loading and unloading bags from the cruise ships onto the motor coaches. And this was in Juneau, Alaska, which is one of the wettest cities in the world. Cliff told me the story that one time he had to load and unload bags from the ship. It was just pouring down rain. He was drenched. He was working hard. He was miserable. And off in the distance, he saw walking toward him his manager, his boss, along with the vice president of the company. They came up to the edge of the dock and looking down from a rail to what Cliff was doing. They stood for a few minutes, and it was the vice president not the boss who descended the stairs and began to help Cliff load and unload those bags in his suit and tie. Cliff said, I never forgot that. I learned that no matter how high you get, you're never above being a servant. So my friends, whether it's marriage and family, parenting, church life, your work life, we are never above being a servant. And Jesus on that day, when he cleaned the feet, 12 dirty pairs of feet of those disciples, teaches us that we ought to always be a servant. And servant usually means taking on the dirty job, taking on the worst, the yuckiest job. So that's what it means to be great. Let's be great together. Thank you for watching and listening, and have a great day.